Hello friends, and welcome back to the next chapter in Tulip, the first book in the Secret of Earth series. Chapter 5. The laboratory was bigger than it looked. There were several floors. The floor Dr. Crescent took Tulip to was a wider chamber. It was much emptier than the other floors. Dr. Crescent showed Tulip all the machines he had worked on. He was surprised that the girl before him learned and comprehended his work so quickly. Normally, when he showed the common villager his work, the tour would take such a long time, and it would bother him. But this girl was interesting. She had extended her vocabulary and was able to speak on his level faster than he had. She was marvelous. Once the two arrived at the top floor, the empty chamber, Dr. Crescent asked the girl if she had any questions. To his surprise, she didn't. He liked that about her. He was expecting there would be stupid questions on things he had already explained. But Tulip had understood every word once she got past the complex vocab. Tulip was enthralled. She learned more about machines and science than she thought was necessary. Dr. Crescent was amazing. He knew so much. Tulip wished she knew as much as he knew about science, about the earth. Miss, if you would be so kind as to inform me to the extent of your knowledge, Dr. Crescent stated calmly. Yes, of course. Tulip blushed some. He was so straightforward. Well, I have the ability to communicate with plants. Grass always has something to talk about, of course. They never settle down. Trees are very quiet and kind. Flowers are different from day to day. That doesn't give me anything, since I cannot talk to plants. But please continue. Well, I guess what I'm really saying is what I do isn't the same as showing you. Tulip was kind of shy about this. She kept to herself for such a long time. She wasn't sure if she had the guts to do it in front of Dr. Crescent. Tulip took a deep breath. She didn't know why, but it helped calm her down. She closed her eyes and hoped to feel alone. It helped some, but not entirely. She stepped back some and focused on the floor. She thought of something small. A single rose should do, Tulip thought. It was enough to show him one thing she was capable of doing. When she opened her eyes, there it was, a dainty little rose. So how's that? Intriguing, but is that all you can do, grow little plants? No, of course not. Tulip turned red with some frustration. The doctor had no patience. She had to show him everything. Tulip made the rose grow bigger. She changed to ice. Her clothes changed to match her form. Then she frosted the rose as if it was outside before fall had turned to winter. Tulip looked up at Dr. Crescent. He didn't seem amazed. What, are you not impressed? Tulip was getting more and more fed up, and a little redder. It's not that I'm not impressed. I'm just being observant, so please, keep going, and don't stop on my account. Tulip was just fine with not stopping. She shot some ice shards into the air, and she herself turned air, making winds to break the shards down into an icy wind. She changed to lightning and spun a bowl with the settling ice. Then the bowl melted, and then as the bowl melted, she changed to water and manipulated the melting ice. She had sat on the floor because she had a fishtail instead of legs. She found she was feeling warmer than usual as she sat in the bowl. She thought it was because she was mad. She looked down at her clothes. They had changed again. They were orange and yellow in a pattern, like that of fire. She felt her temper rise with excitement. The bowl started to melt faster. She decided to experiment with this new form. She was fire. The bowl melted, and it put her out, though. She wasn't happy with the feeling of being put out too much. It was like being hit with a hammer. Wonderful. Truly wonderful. Dr. Crescent had a smile on his face. He had to be truly happy for the first time since Tulip had been there. Really, thank you. Really, thank you. You're the only person I have shown what I can do and didn't judge me. Thank you, Dr. Crescent. No, thank you, young lady. You showed me a world I haven't known before. What a truly wonderful thing. It makes me curious. Dr. Crescent examined Tulip more closely. How did you get like this? Well, what I remember is I was running. I had pricked my finger on a thorn bush, and then I woke up in a prison cell. So really, I have no memory of who I used to be before this. Interesting. How are you able to control all your forms and powers? It's all in my mind, really. I focus on what I want, and it happens. Like the rose. All I did was think of a rose growing, and it happened. Huh. May I run some tests on your powers? Why? Is me telling your answers not enough for you? Well, no. I want more than verbal answers, my dear. Some data is best physical or written down. Dr. Crescent had built a machine to control the flow of Tulip's powers. All she had to do was direct her power as energy. It was difficult since Tulip had never done anything like this before. The machine itself was strange. It was just a box with two long claws and hands at the ends. The box looked like a generator. But why would Dr. Crescent need a generator to collect energy? Tulip wasn't sure about the choice she made. The machine was odd enough, but it was weirder when Dr. Crescent started to talk to himself. He was saying strange things that Tulip didn't understand, like as if it was in a different language. He turned to Tulip with a creepy smile on his face, like he was about to do something evil. If you would step up to the machine, Miss Tulip. His voice cracked a little. It sounded like the harsh young man's voice from earlier. Tulip started to think Dr. Crescent's voice changed with his activity, old when touring, young when experimenting. He was surely odd. Tulip stepped up to the machine, and Dr. Crescent turned her around and placed the claws tight around her wrists. It was as if he didn't want her to get out of them. Will this hurt? Tulip asked, a little scared. She didn't care for pain, even though she always felt it. She found out it was the pain in the world. And she had grown accustomed to it. But the thought of more pain didn't catch her fancy. It'll only hurt if you struggle. Crescent's voice was creepier now than it was a second ago. He was really weird and obviously crazy. The machine sputtered on. Tulip focused her power like she was supposed to, and then a sharp, stabbing pain ran through her. Her legs felt weak quickly, and she dropped to her knees. The pain was too strong to bear. Tulip let out a high-pitched cry. It was too much, too fast. Calm down. It can't be that bad. Oh, but it was. The pain started to take control and fast. Darkness started to cloud Tulip's mind and eyes. She couldn't think straight. In fact, she couldn't think at all with the pain. Tulip opened her eyes. She was lying down. It was pitch black. She had no clue what was going on. She still felt pain. She looked up, and there was a light. It seemed far, yet so close. Like an illusion. It was odd. Tulip got to her feet. She winced in pain. She had no idea what was happening. She started on the road. It was dark, so she couldn't see it. Tulip really couldn't see anything. She made up to the staircase that must have been how it looked so far. It was higher. Tulip wasted no time and started to climb. It hurt greatly going up the stairs, but she made it to the top. She was on her knees by that point. There was a girl waiting at the top, staring down at Tulip. This is the end of Chapter 5. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And leave a comment letting me know what I can do to improve my content. I hope to see you all in next week's episode of Tulip. Have a nice day.